What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Dark Reflections. We got an amazing one for you tonight, but I'm jumping in here right now because I fucked up. This is like an intro before the intro. I did fuck up on this show. One thing I fucked up before you watch it. This is a Dark Reflections about a suffocating lie, moral collapse. All right. I did fuck up one thing. I misspoke. I forgot. I say in this episode that Marcelo is bassist and backing vocals. I also say that Rich does the clean vocals. I believe Marcelo, the bassist, does all of the clean I could be wrong, but I believe he's not backing vocals. He's the clean vocalist. I believe. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know for a fact he is on the track, At Least Black Sheep. So I just wanted to correct myself in that. Apologize so much for getting that wrong. I just totally forgot. And I'm very, very sorry for that. Because, dude, Marcelo, if you're doing all the clean vocals on this album, unfucking real, dude. Like, I fucking love it. I fucking love it, all right? Like, we'll get into it on this. Trust me. All I'm going to do is love on this album right now. But I just wanted to jump in here and let everybody know that and this is what you're about to hear me say. This is going to come out on January 1st, 2021. And all this is why the album is this is why the episode is coming out a little bit later than I anticipated, because I did all the I realized it after I recorded it, and I did all the research that I could, and just to double check, I'm pretty sure Marcelo, who was on with Rich and Trevor, my fellow diehard, on episode 130, our second ever video episode. You hear me talk all about that. Yeah, I just wanted to make that correction because I felt like I fucked up, and I felt bad about that. So, you're going to hear me say that Marcelo does the backing vocals and Rich does all the clean vocals. I don't know if that's the case. I don't think it is. I think Marcelo does the clean vocals, and and what you'll hear me say in this episode is how amazing the clean vocals sound with the screaming. And it's even like the fact that it's actually two different vocalists, like, actually makes it even that much more impressive to me because of how good it goes together, how well it blends together. Like, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. But without further ado, I just wanted to jump in here real quick. I'm so sorry to make that correction. And without further ado, everyone, Crypt Crew, here is Dark Reflections, A Suffocating Lie, Moral Collapse. Enjoy. What is going on, everyone? We are back. Crypt Crew! Thank you so much for being here. For me right now, it's actually New Year's Eve. And this will come out on New Year's Day. But I had to do this. I have one last album I want to talk about on Dark Reflections that came out in the year 2020, and this is a very special album for me personally. Our good friends in A Suffocating Lie released their debut full-length album, Moral Collapse. Let me try to get a good shot. It is so fucking awesome. I love it. Here, I'll show you the back. Look at that. Just awesome. Absolutely phenomenal artwork. You know, we always like to talk about artwork here. I was not able to find who did this. But if I do find it, I'll be sure to put it down in the description below. Because my gosh, it is. I mean, how very verminous of them to go with that. I love that color scheme. I think it looks awesome. It literally looks like a bog. It's almost like something that Aaron would use for one of his albums or artwork or something. But speaking of Aaron, as you can see, my partner in crime is not with me tonight to take a deep dive into this one with me. He had a couple things. He's a little bit busy. That's all right. It's all right. But this is it. This is the final anything that we're doing in the year 2020. It's been a crazy year, but we will get more into that on the Filthy 15 episode, Best of 2020, coming out next week. But right now we're taking a deep dive into a moral collapse by A Suffocating Lie. This album was released on Friday, November the 13th, 2020. And in case you've never, again, this is their debut album. So in case you've never heard of A Suffocating Lie, I'm going to read you their quick little bio. Fusing deep, deadly riffs with earth-shattering drops and merciless guttural vocal screams, A Suffocating Lie are an emerging metal band based out of California. In just a year since forming, the fierce five-piece has performed alongside numerous iconic acts such as Dead American, Secrets, and We Came as Romans, gracing the stage at countless top-tier venues such as Chain Reaction, Rainbow Bar and Grill, and the Whiskey A Go-Go, woo, and the House of Blues, just to name a few. They released their debut single, All the Marbles, in 2019 with a full LP due out in 2020. The project all started when vocalist Rich met up with guitarist Trevor, and they started experimenting in his backyard. Rich then contacted some of his old friends from his previous band, Recreate, to hire bassist Marcelo and guitarist Drew. Finally, to complete the lineup, drummer Topher came into the project in early 2020. Each musician hails from a very different musical influence, from System of a Down to Amon Amarth, all the way to Chelsea Grin and even Johnny Cash and Hatebreed. The resulting sound is a darkly sinister and a dizzying fresh spin on the essentials of the metalcore genre. A Suffocating Lie aimed to bring people together through their savage metal anthems in hopes of providing them the same kind of happiness and healing that music did for them growing up. I love that. I love that sentiment. That is, I really liked that bio. A Suffocating Lie is Topher Jones on drums, Marcelo Handorf. Oh, I'm sorry if I fucked your name up. Marcelo Handorf, bass and backing vocals. Drew Obesso on guitar, Rich Thomas on lead vocals, and my fellow diehard Trevor Hassel on guitar. Now, I said earlier, this is a very special one for me. This was the first band ever, besides the bands that I know personally, like Recorruptor and Bogwraith, to ever reach out to us and want to be on the show. They were on episode 130, and it was only the second episode ever where we were on video. We had just figured out how to do the video, very top of the pandemic, and interesting, these guys were actually about to release an EP. That's what they were on. They were on talking about it, and then pandemic hit. All the plans got changed, and they just decided, you know what? We already have a handful of songs. Why don't we just add some more and roll out a full length 15 track? I think it's like 45-minute long album. This thing is massive, which I love, because I wouldn't say a complaint, but one thing that me and Aaron have talked about on a lot of these this year is, man, we wish this was a little bit longer. This one is perfect. Yeah, like this album has everything. To me, it has everything you look for in a metal album. And I'm pretty sure, I always get this wrong, but I think it's called tracking. That's when you decide like what order the tracks go in. I could be wrong. I probably am. But whatever that is, it's so good. And every song really has a life of its own. And each song bleeds into the next one seamlessly. It's one of these albums where you started at track one, let it play, you can't not let it play all the way through, and then you're about ready to start it over again, because it just bleeds into itself so well, and I love that about it. Now, fucking another thing that we've talked a lot about are one of the many things, and I will go through it, that this album has that I love. Like I said, it has everything that I love about metal. One of them is something you've heard Aaron and I talk about a bit: samples. The opening track, Different World, which is also the opening track of Iron Maiden's 2005 Matter of Life and Death. I think it's one of my top 2 favorite songs on that album. But so I loved it when they called this the opening track Different World for that reason. It's like a eerie, like, build. It almost looks like it sounds like a like, if there was going to be a visual to this, I would almost imagine a camera just going over this landscape just as this plays in the background, because it's this eerie, haunting building. And then, but it's underneath, over top, you're hearing these samples, and they're like different news clips and stuff like that. And then it ends on, well, technically the next track begins on, like I said, they just mold into each other, on a quote from the Joker movie. It's like is it just me, or is it getting crazy out there? I think that's the quote. And then it just jumps right into Apologies Overdue, which hands down is one of my favorite tracks on the album. The hook is massive. That's another so this album has fucking samples. It's got massive hooks, massive choruses, insane riffs. The breakdowns on this thing, okay? Like, I was driving around listening to it earlier today. I am hard pressed to think of another debut album since, and I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, but since like Parkway Drive or A Thy Art Is Murder, that the debut album had breakdowns this massive, this heavy, this just, you're driving and you're just driving and then like you just lose your shit, man. Like it's breakdowns on this thing are nuts, are absolutely nuts. I love it. I love it. It moves too. It really does. I love the samples. And there's even one sample, and this is kind of crazy to me. Like, it's because they use the samples from the new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And one of the things I said in the past that I didn't like about his, not that I didn't like the movie or anything, but one of my complaints about it was his voice never changed. And his laugh was just kind of like a normal laugh. It didn't really have anything on it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the animated series Joker or the Heath Ledger Joker. But then they use that laugh for a second in the middle of the song, I think during a breakdown, and it works. So it made me like the Joker laugh even more. It blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome. The drumming, that's another thing. I was driving around earlier trying to think like what really stands out to me in terms of the instruments. And as I was going through each track, I was like, every single thing. There's nothing, everything stands out to me. Like, the drums are insane, just relentless, absolutely gut-pummelingly relentless. Like, sometimes, if I had to say reminds me of anything, be Winds of Plague. This is, I will say this, I am a little bit bummed that Aaron's not here, because I feel like would have a point of view that would be really helpful right now for me, because reason for that is because a lot of people might know that I am not as familiar with metal music. I just haven't listened to as much metal music where they combine screaming and singing. I stayed away from it for a long time, but now I'm really starting to get into it. And now I'm finding bands that I'm really attached to that do it. So I'm starting to learn. I'm getting there. And this is definitely, I mean, you could say this is one of my gateway bands, I guess, for that. And so, but yeah, that's what I was saying is like, so I feel like Aaron is more familiar with that stuff. So I feel like he'd be able to say be able to more accurately describe what he may think some of this might sound similar to in a way. It doesn't really sound like anything I've ever heard, to be honest. Like I said, each track is so different, but they go together so well. Like, nothing on this album really sounds the same as anything else on it. Like they did such an amazing job at keeping it moving and keeping it fresh for 15 tracks for 45 minutes. Like 45 minutes. It's insane. But and then oh shit, I forget which track it is, but there's one towards the middle of the album. Shit, I'm so sorry. I should have written it down. They did this amazing like bass solo thing. I love how they let each instrument shine. Okay? I love how they let each instrument shine when, at the right time. Like there's so much just raw talent here. And another thing, that I forgot to mention, this was mixed and mastered by Brandon Wolf and Jeremy Valentine out at Wolf Studios in I think Los Angeles. So shout out to them, because the production on this thing, it's hard for me to believe that sometimes that this is a debut album. Like, it's so fucking well done. Like, this is your first try? Like, what? Like, this is outstanding. It's just outstanding work on the mixing, the mastering, and the production side of this record, without question. Really blew me away. Rich's vocal performance. I mean, when he screams, he sounds like the most angry fucking banshee from hell you've ever heard. And then it's juxtaposed with this amazing, beautiful fucking clean vocal range as well. That even that, like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't really like gravitate towards a lot of stuff, because a lot of times the screaming and the cleans would be so different, for other bands. And then another thing I didn't like about it in the past, and I'm talking early 2000s here, is when the cleans would come in, all the heavy music would stop, and then they would completely change up the sound during that. The heaviness never stops on this. Never stops on this record. Like, it is top to fucking bottom hard. Like, it is so fucking heavy. So there was no, it's just this fucking amazing screaming with these fucking beautiful cleans that I am addicted to, that especially the hook in Apologies Overdue. I can't stop listening to that hook. I'm completely obsessed with it right now. Yeah, man. Like, just massive breakdowns, incredible grooves. They got moments on the album where it's just like chanting. You get chanting, you get some whoas, you get some of that. You get fucking like those big, it's like what if you were to mix like, oh God, like Iron Maiden and Cattle Decapitation and maybe like Parkway or Thy Art. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to use these band names as adjectives to describe sounds is all I'm doing. I'm not trying to say they sound like anything, but like in my head right now, that's just kind of the image I got for some reason. Just the chants, like the samples, it has everything that I love that metal music does. Everything. Blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. I like lost, like the riffing, the guitar work, like on Lost All Hope and Rolling the Dice. There's like almost a little like Lamb of God feeling to it for me. Like, these are just like I would say Lost All Hope, Rolling the Dice, Follow the Leader. Those are some of, for me, my favorite riffs on the album. By far. I love that fucking melodic one, Follow the Leader. Fuck, that is amazing. I love that track. The piano in it, amazing. Like, it's so creepy. Like, it has a fucking haunting element to it, to me. And then what is this? What have me and Aaron been saying? And we are gonna call this the year of the blah. The year of the blah. Because we got Lamb of God, new Lamb of God album with blah, new Hatebreed album with blah, and now we got multiple blahs on this album. We love the blah. So, yeah, that was really exciting. And I mean, there's no fucking way. Oh yeah, one sample I did want to mention. They used a Monty Python sample at the very end of, I believe, Filthy Infection. God, awesome. Burner! That's so, as soon as I heard that, I just, all right. One of my favorite albums of the year right here. This, what the fuck are you saying? You got Monty Python on here. Like, this is amazing. There's no fucking way I can pick a favorite track. At least, yeah, there's no way. But what I can tell you is there are a handful of tracks where don't be near me. Don't be fucking in the same area code as me when these fucking things come on, because I'm going to destroy everything around me, okay? Don't be near me when Autopilot comes on, Lost All Hope, Vulture Poacher, lyrically one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's about like cancel culture and all that shit. I love that track. Washed Up, Follow the Leader, and like I've been saying, Apologies Overdue. 5 tracks out of the 15-track album are immediate neck-breaking, like mosh crazy, like fucking punch the wall. You know what I mean? Just overpoweringly, you know, same feeling you get when you listen to fucking Destroy Everything or something like that. It's, man, like because when I had talked to them the first time, they had an EP about ready to come out. They had a couple singles. They had a brand new video out. Go check all that out. I'll put links in the description below for everything I can. But so at the time I talked to them, they'd only released two songs. Yeah, I believe 2 songs, maybe 3, but I think it was 2. This is one of those situations where you got to hear the whole thing. You got to listen to the whole thing, top to bottom. Like I mean, I'm sure you could, pick singles and stuff, but why? Like, it's so good together, and it makes so much sense when you hear it all together. I just didn't see anything like this. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect with this album. And I was fucking floored. Like, the first time I heard it, because Aaron knows I usually don't like the cleans and the screams and stuff. But I've been like getting a lot more into it lately, honestly, because I've been finding a lot of stuff that I'm like, this is really fucking good. What was wrong with me? And so when I sat down and showed this to Aaron for the first time, I was like, you're going to be surprised how much I like this. Like, and he's like, yeah, I actually am, because normally you don't. But I am in love with this album. I have been listening to it non-stopped since it came out. We had it was the holidays. We had a bunch of other stuff that we were doing. So it took me a minute to get to this episode of Dark Reflections, but I absolutely had to get this out, get it done at least before the end of the year, and then give it all to you the first day of the new year. Because it has really been blowing me away how amazing this is, especially when you consider all of the stuff that they had to deal with. These guys are out in California, so just like us here in Michigan, super strict, hardcore lockdowns. I think they're even stricter than us, though. So they have really felt the blunt of it, and for them to still, pull together and be like, no, fuck this, let's put together a fucking album. And then to pull it off and release it, and not only all that, do it all during a pandemic, and then have it come out and be fucking amazing. Like, you did the impossible, guys. You did the fucking impossible. So man, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this one, to be completely honest. Other than, again, this is one of the most special ones for me personally, because you go back and watch episode 130 where I got to sit down and talk to these guys. It blew my mind that somebody from California had even heard of us, let alone was interested enough to want to be on the show. And then, and Aaron will tell you, like, I was texting him the moments leading up to getting him on Skype. We were on Skype back then. And I was like, dude, I'm so fucking nervous. I don't know if I can do this. Like, because Aaron wasn't with me on that one, so I had to do that one alone. And I was absolutely terrified. Dead serious. And then they come on, and we get about 5 or 10 minutes into the conversation. I'm a bumbling idiot the first 5-10 minutes of pretty much any time we have a new guest on. But we get a few minutes into the conversation, and I was just like, wait, like I feel like when you meet someone at a concert, and it's just like, I feel like I just met like a long lost family member. Like, that is what it felt like immediately. I was like, whoa. Like, I did not expect it. I was not expecting, and they just came on, and they were just the nicest, kindest, like, some of the coolest guests, like, just really genuine, awesome guys. And I have been fortunate enough to catch them a couple times over the course of the year on, like, Instagram Live and stuff. So I have chatted with them a little bit throughout. Of course, very closely followed the release of this album and everything. But I just, absolutely from the bottom of my heart, guys, I can never, ever thank you. If you're seeing this, never thank you enough for being our first ever guests like that on the show, our second ever video episode ever. You guys are forever etched into the Lost in the Dark Podcast Hall of Fame. You guys are always welcome here, and we will always support you no matter what. And these are just real motherfuckers. They're DIY till you die. You know what I mean? They're not waiting around for anything. They're getting shit done. And I tell you what, when they when we can play live shows again, it's over. Like, when I get to see these guys live and meet them in person for the first time, it's fucking over. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, yeah, by the way, got the t-shirt on so you can see the cover a little bit better, maybe. Forgot about that. Nice. These guys mean the world to me. I love these guys so much. I can never speak highly enough of them. Everybody, check out the links below. Got the link to the website, the YouTube. You can check out the videos. You can go to the website. You can order a physical copy and some merch. Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram. Check them out everywhere. They're everywhere. Again, links in the description below. For them, one more time, A Suffocating Lie, Moral Collapse, released November 13th, Friday the 13th, 2020. Stunning artwork. I love it. I absolutely adore that artwork. And I adore this album. And I adore these guys, A Suffocating Lie. They are just the coolest, and they absolutely deserve every ounce of your support. They worked their fucking asses off on this thing, and it shows, and it came out spectacular. So I cannot recommend this one enough. But I guess, yeah, that's going to be about it. This is it, everybody. This is it. This is the last one for 2020. We're going to come back into 2021 strong. Don't get it twisted. We got plenty coming out next week, but this is it. And hopefully next year's a little bit better. We'll get into a little bit more reflection when I have Aaron on. And we'll go into some things on the Filthy 15, which is coming out next week. But until then, that's going to be about it. Again, Suffocating Lie. Can never thank you guys enough. You guys are the fucking best. And unbelievable work on this one. All right. Unfucking believable. It's absolutely blew me away. And I already want to fucking turn on Apologies Overdue right now. So I've been talking about it. Stuck in my head, man. I love that track. So yeah, that's going to be about it. Fucking love you guys. Suffocating Lie. This is it. This is the last one of the year. Yeah. And anytime you guys want a Suffocating Lie, anytime, if you're seeing this, anytime you want to be back on, just hit me up and let me know. And it happens. Because you guys are welcome anytime. I can't wait to talk to you guys again. Amazing work. But that's going to be it from us at Lost in the Dark for 2020. Thank you all. Anybody who's watched any of our stuff this year, you have our hearts. Like, you are the real motherfucking Crypt crew. And hopefully next year's a little bit better, right? Let's be positive. Hopefully next year's a little bit better. We got a lot more coming very, very soon. But for the last time for 2020, as always, everyone, we got a lot more coming. But raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. Good night.